Sell or process further decisions for joint products. Joint products are produced from a single raw material. Once the raw material has been broken down into individual joint products, the decision is to whether to sell the joint products as is or to incur additional costs and process further for more profits. Let's look at an example using trees. This is the cost of the trees, and this is the cost of the separation process. As is, or the intermediate products, would be logs, which we could sell for $100,000, pulp, which we could sell for $75,000, or wood chips that we could sell for $35,000. However, if we incur the cost of further refining these, we could wind up with wood planks from the logs, paper from the pulp, or particle board from the wood chips. So how do we set up these problems to determine whether or not we should sell at this intermediate product level or whether we should sell at the final product level? The way to look at this is to take the final product and the sales price that we would receive. So for the logs, $250,000 for the wood planks, $110,000 for the paper, and $90,000 for the particle board. From this, we are going to deduct the intermediate products. So if we had sold the logs as is, we would have gotten $100,000. If we had sold the pulp as is, we would have gotten $75,000. And the wood chips, if we had sold it as is right after the separation process, we would have received $35,000. So this is the incremental income that we would have earned by processing these individual components further. So the incremental income for logs would have been $150,000, $35,000 for the pulp, and $55,000 for the wood chips. But in order to earn this incremental income, what did we have to spend in order to earn this income? Well, we would have had to have the cost of $90,000 for further processing in order to be able to sell this final product of the wood planks. And so we would have determined that for $150,000 more in income, we would have spent $90,000 extra in order to get the final product of the wood planks. So in this instance, since it's a positive profit, we would go ahead and process these further, the logs, and process them all the way down to wood planks in order to gain this additional $60,000 in income. Now let's look at pulp. The final product sales price, the intermediate sales price, and this would be the incremental income that we would have received by processing it further. However, when we look at the cost of further refining, we determined that that would have been $40,000, and so we would have lost $5,000 by processing this further because we would have incurred the cost of $40,000, but the additional income would have only been $30,000. So in this instance, we would probably sell the pulp as is for $75,000. Now let's look at the wood chips. Particle board would sell for $90,000, the wood chips for $35,000. The incremental income that we can get by processing it all the way down to the part where we have a product of particle boards would be $55,000. It cost us $5,000 additional in order to earn the additional $55,000. So, deducting the costs from the incremental income, we would determine that $50,000 was there to be made if we had processed the wood chips further. And in that instance, we would go ahead and process the wood chips further.